Assalamu alaikum. First, I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to share a little journey that we went through at Kasra. My name is Nawaf Felemban. I want to share with you some of the lessons we learned in the past year and a half with Kasra. So I spent about 15 years of my life in the US. And like many of you, we were influenced by the environment we were in. One of these areas was language. So at work, you communicate in English. With your friends, you communicate in English. I used to play baseball there, to communicate with my team in English. And then I came back to Dubai initially. I live in Doha now. And I found myself reconnecting with old friends, making new ones, but I was still communicating in English. The attempts I had at Arabic ended up looking like this. This is how I communicated. Maybe some of you are guilty of that too today, or know people like that. Now the question is, why is this happening, right? We are today in a world where we're immersed in technology. Information is at our fingertips. And no doubt, it's great content out there. What is sad, what is unfortunate is most of it is in English. Whether it's TV, cinema, websites, journalism, I'm sure you'll all find great content in English. This is a reality that's very, very different than the one I grew up in. I don't know, but probably not a lot of you know what this is. This guy's name is Abil Huruf. Abil Huruf. So, I recall a story where I was in high school. I went to Thagr B'Jidda, public school. Our English teacher walked in and looked at my friend Hani and said, "Hani, please stand up." Hani stood up. And he's like, "Why did you cheat on the exam?" What was Hani's response? "Wallah ma ghashayt. Uqsim barabb al-Ka'ba ma ghashayt." The teacher smirked and looked at him and was like, "In the field where you're supposed to write your name, you wrote the name of the student sitting in front of you." This was the state of English exposure for us back then. It was one class a week, and we started with the alphabet in high school. You can imagine the difference that we live in today. Now, today we are adopting technology at a much higher rate than we learn about it. Most of this technology is foreign. I remember when credit cards, loans became very easily accessible in Saudi, and probably the rest of the GCC, because I've heard these stories in other places like Qatar and the UAE. I recall my cousin, Mish'al, and please don't put this out in public because he'll kill me for that, all of a sudden realized that he can get a loan, a big loan. Got very excited about it. Went out to a couple of banks, got loans, credit cards, and everything, for one purpose: to get a nice car. Fast forward several months later. This wasn't his car, by the way. I wasn't there when he got his car repossessed. His car was repossessed. The question is, do you blame him for that? Or do you blame what is happening in the world of content? Now, if you look at this specific example, if you consider personal finance as a topic. Now, fast forward today, this happened years ago, the access to credit and loans. Fast forward to today, if you look up the word personal finance in Arabic, and you look it up in English, the amount of content that is out there in Arabic is 0.7% that of the amount that is in English. So how are we to keep up with this foreign technology and be responsible about it? Obviously, there's a lot of good that comes with it, but sometimes we act irresponsibly. Now at Kasra, What we're trying to do is not solve this beast of a problem. We want to be a part of that solution. We want to enrich content in Arabic, and I know a lot of people talked about enriching content in Arabic. The challenges that most faced were around being an elitist in Arabic, right? Looking at the Arabic language as this holy thing that you need to treat. For us, enriching Arabic content is reaching the millions with content that really is relevant to you, meaningful to you. Our content today that is available is either news, whether it's Al Jazeera, Al Arabiya, or very niche content, so Kura, football. But think of personal finance, think of well-being, think of fitness, think of all these other things that you can talk about, right? Today in English, if you want to learn about Excel, if you want to learn about origami, if you want to learn yoga, if you want to learn what have you, how to play the guitar, the list is random, and that's the point. You can look up anything that is random, and you will find great content for it. Try to do that in Arabic. You're not going to find it. Now, we're not claiming to be at Kasra, the website that provides only useful content, because we also believe in the power of entertainment. We believe in the power of light content. We usually internally joke around and say we want to unite the Arab world one cat picture at a time. The content that's out there today is very divisive. Even if you look at Kura, that content is divisive, right? It pins the Ittihadi against the Hilali. Right? If you look at news, it pins different segments of people against each other. And we talk about the Arab identity, and we're very proud of our Arab identity. We say we're Arabs, right? I can reach across the aisle to a Moroccan, and the Moroccan and myself are both Arabs. But if we ask ourselves, how much do we know about other Arabs? The answer is very little, because we document very little about how we live, what we care about. Now, to date, we published more than 10,000 articles in the past year and a half. We do all of our content. It's all original content. We don't translate. We don't localize. We have a team across the entire Middle East, people on the ground. We don't hire journalists. We tried that. But then these people came from Al-Ahram, Uqab. It's very, very traditional mindset, old media. We found our best success with writers like yourselves. In Egypt, we had medical professions leaving the medical field to write for us on full-time basis. Because they said when they were at the juncture of their careers, when they graduated from college, they were passionate about writing. But they said the options were Al-Haram, Ukaz, Sharq al-Awsat, and that wasn't exciting for them. So when we came around, people got excited. Now, like I said, we want to be part of the solution. We can't be the solution. There's a lot of room to play, 0.7% to 97%. One thing that I forgot to mention is a lot of people say, probably a lot of people in this room would say, but this generation is very fluent in English. They have no problems accessing content in English. A recent study showed that Saudis prefer to consume content in Arabic. That number, that percentage, is 97%. They are forced to consume content in English. They're not fluent in English. There's a segment of people like us, we've been fortunate, alhamdulillah, and we can consume content in English, but the base, the majority, everybody around us prefers content in Arabic. So what we've decided to do is open up our platform. So over the coming few months, our platform will be open to everybody. If you have an idea you want to share, and it could be as simple as, this is my morning routine, this is how I do my job, then you are welcome to join. There's a lot of people that said, if you get into Arabic content, you will fail. Nobody cares about Arabic content. Content is English, content is video. We disagreed, and so far, we have had great success. On monthly basis, we have the equivalent of 15 years of reading time that happens on the website. Every month, about 15 years of reading time happen on our website. We're one of the fastest growing Arabic websites worldwide today. Now, I want to share with you 3 lessons that we learned in this journey, and I hope it will be a little bit helpful. In today's world, we talk about technology and the role of data. We hire people from very diverse backgrounds, but I am an engineer by background, so I love data, I love numbers. I'm not very good at writing. So we built this culture of data. So all of a sudden, you have all these people that with random backgrounds becoming data nerds. It's a picture of somebody, one of our colleagues, standing up by our dashboard in the morning just to see what is going on, what can we do better. This is an ingredient for success. This is why we were doing better than other publishers. Quality is always declining. People will catch up to you. The bar keeps rising. We actually, every few months, we overhaul our entire creative system. You go back, from scratch. What can we do? How can we do it differently? Every few months, we travel to different cities in the region, and we retrain our entire writing staff on a new method. We experiment. It doesn't always work. Our traffic dips and goes based on our experimentations, but we learn. We create this culture of learning along the way. Our team is extremely engaged. I know a lot of people talk about, hire good people, hire good people. One thing that we do is collective purpose. So the purpose of Kasra is collectively defined by the entire team. Because if every member believes in the purpose, then they will be owners in the entire initiative. So these are 3 things that we learned along the way. 3 things we want to do better, we want to continue to do, is 1, we know that we need to develop each other. We have a culture of feedback, but it's not very instilled. We are working more towards, this is my colleague Ali. Ali is a journalist from Jordan who had gone through this transformation, personal transformation. A few weeks ago, he came to me, he's like, Nawaf, can I schedule a weekly feedback session with you? Now, the word feedback for him was foreign. So can I schedule a weekly feedback with you? I was like, about anything, in general? He's like, no, I want to discuss empathy. I want to be more empathetic towards people. Now, there's somebody who's not fluent in English at all, right? And the concept of empathy, unfortunately, is not something that we're trained on. But transformation. We've been heads down the whole time, the past 1.5 years. Just trying to survive, trying to just make it through. We know there's a lot of people out there. We know we can partner with people. So I am reaching out to everybody today to say, please come to me. If you find areas where we can work together, we'd love to. And finally, one area that we want to work on is we are a young startup. We're still in our infancy. But we spent 1.5 years learning a lot of lessons. We failed along the way. We succeeded along the way. If you're in that early stage as well, talk to me. Let's share some of the things we learned. This is my son and this is my daughter. He's trying to teach her how to use the puzzles, but he just really doesn't know how to use them either. So this is how it will be. But I promise you, we'll do it together. Thank you.